Day number 4, episode 4 of the day 1 vlog. I am your host, Philip Mott. It's Sunday, which means I go to one of my jobs. I really have kind of 2 jobs. One, I work as outreach and development for my brother's company, University Learning Centers, which is really just a glorified position of I help the company meet new prospects. I really have no other involvement beyond that. I just try to help in any way I can, and then I also work for our church, directing our volunteer efforts for our children's ministry. So those 2 things keep me a little bit busy, and then schooling at home and that stuff keeps me busy too. So what I wanted to mention right off the bat today is, again, I'm driving and I don't look at the camera when I'm driving, so I hope I don't feel distracted. But so one of the reasons I'm actually numbering these episodes is so that if you find a particular, or even myself, when I'm going back through these, I can see them in order and see things take shape instead of trying to figure out based on date. So that's one good reason I think it is to number things, and it doesn't have to be fancy, just number 4. That's what today is. Yesterday I posted a video of my son my son vacuuming the car, and I realized that if I do that all the time, I'm gonna paint a little bit of a skewed picture of what self-directed learning really looks like, because it's not always awesome. And I think that's one of the things that it has on a regular approach to education is it's not trying to make life awesome. It's trying to make school more like life. And so there are days that our kids don't do what some people would call productive things. They're sort of just sitting around, or they're running around and playing. And what the self-directed learning advocate says is that's extremely valuable. Dr. Peter Gray wrote a whole book about this concept of kids being free to play, and he actually called the book Free to Learn, and wrote about how much value there is in child-directed play. But I think it's important for me to share that, instead of I don't want this vlog to come across like an advertisement, like everything is just wonderful all the time. I feel like we have a peaceful home, and there's so many things that our kids do that we're excited about. And part of the reason that we're excited is because we're not making them do it. The other day, Noah wanted to count. He just wanted to count. And I didn't make him do that. Now, there's probably part of me that shows him in my body language and my tone of voice that I value what he's doing. But he's not doing it to get me to say good job, or you're so smart. I mean, I think he's just interested in it. That's what I'm assuming. So self-directed education is not this amazing approach that will change your lives and all of a sudden your kids start helping out around the house. It's a lot of work. I mean, there's a lot of things that we do for our kids. But now there's a lot of things that they're starting to do for themselves. And it's just a really cool process to see. And while I don't support posting videos of my kids, tantruming and stuff like that, I just don't think it's respectful to them. There are some times where they get really upset, and that's part of life. We just accept that, the fact that sometimes there's going to be some days where they don't like us all that much. So I don't know what else I'll be posting today. Might grab some more video here soon. So I'm heading to work, and I will see you soon. Yet another car entry. I'm really not in the car that much today. I just happen to have thoughts while I'm driving. And one thing I observed in our children's ministry this morning was the family that was doing the volunteering for the teaching this week was doing a cool activity. They were helping the kids create prayer pails. So they bought these little buckets, I think, for, I don't know if maybe they were $1 a piece at the dollar store, or if they were $1 for like 6 of them or something. But they bought all these little buckets, and then they just taught a little lesson about praying for people. And so they had them put the names of people in their lives that they wanted to pray for. And that's what the kids did. So they decorated those sticks. And I just really liked the lesson. And I realized that we'd made an error in our planning for the children's ministry. And one of the errors was, and it's the same thing that schools are continuing to do, it seems to do be in increasing levels, is controlling teacher curriculum. So one of the things they did and talked about when they brought me on was, we want things to be consistent across both campuses. So we have 2 different churches, or 2 different campuses, if you will, same pastor. And this so when they hired me, they said, we really want you to work with the coordinator or the director for the other campus and make sure that the curriculum is the same. And like I said in, I think it was yesterday's entry, that life is not standardized. And one of the things that I have come to learn about teaching is that real learning happens when people are allowed to relate in a way that's comfortable to them. And I've just thought we've made this huge mistake where we've tried to sort of standardize a curriculum, and what we really need to do is help the teachers, the people that volunteer, focus on building relationships, because that's what's going to impact kids, is when these adults in their life not just get close to them, but have a chance to earn their trust. It's hard to earn someone's trust when you are constantly being asked to do something that you don't really care to do. So we really haven't gotten many complaints about the curriculum, but I just worry that the curriculum is sort of stifling the teachers' efforts to create relationships. So I've really got to think about that and talk to our pastor about that. And that relates to the school too. I mean, that's one of the main focuses of the school, is living life with these kids and allowing them to direct their own learning. And that creates an environment where the relationships are built, trust is built, and people grow up to have formed strong relationships with several of their teachers instead of no relationships with their teachers, or very, very few. I'll leave this entry by saying, I know that not every teacher can connect with every student, but what I fear that we've done in this particular instance is we've created an environment where it's harder for every teacher to connect with more of the students. So that's something I want to rectify as soon as I can.